hate to say it, but right now I'm in the middle of about 7 books. So what we're going to be doing for the next week, I'm going to basically see how many of those books I can get through. I'm not going to lie, some of them I haven't actually started. I just kind of put them onto my currently reading list on Fable and I just didn't look at them again, which is probably not a good idea because there are going to be some full-length books in this video. There's also going to be some that I've started and left for a few months. Just basically going to see how much I can remember. If you know me, you know I have a lovely, wonderful, great memory. Anyway, so let's dish about books, except supposedly I'm in the middle of all of them. Obviously, the first thing that we need to do is I need to show you the book. So if you're wondering how to if you're wondering how to have a look, go on to Fable, go onto your reading lists, click currently reading. See, it says 7. So we've got I Would Stay Forever by Clara Nielsen. I started this in between, pretty much all of these I've started them in between making videos and just not finished them because I've had then to read like another book. The Invisible Knife, oh my god. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V. Schwab. Cover Story by Mari McFarlane. I started this in a video where I was trying to replace my screen time with reading. Let's just say that was a big fat failure. Then we've got Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and then we've got Picking Daisies on Sundays by Liana Cincotti. I was annotating this on the side of reading other books, so that's kind of why it's been like abandoned. Not by choice, by practicality. Then we've got Mythos by Stephen Fry, and then we've got Heartless by Marissa Meyer, which I've already read. I really wanted to just have another go with it. We're gonna start with Heartless, which is one I haven't actually started, but it's on my currently rereading list, so I can't just ignore it. Definitely not just pick that one because I want to read it. Definitely not. Why the hell would you insinuate that? That is so rude. This is the backstory of The Queen of Hearts. When I read this the first time, I think I gave it 5 stars, which is why I want to reread it. I want to just see if I feel the same way about it. Long before Alice fell down the rabbit hole and before the roses were painted red, the Queen of Hearts was just a girl in love for the first time. I'm so excited. I think I've established just how much I love fairy tale retellings. I do love retellings. Maybe we could do a video of just reading retellings. So I love a good Beauty and the Beast retelling. And I also love the idea of like villains getting backstory and you kind of like falling for them a little bit. And I think that's what I felt when I read this for the first time. I feel like there are so many books which I don't give them a chance because I just move on to the next one. No book left behind. And obviously that must start with Heartless because we all lose our hearts to boys and regret it. Let's do it. We're gonna get at least 3 of those off of the currently reading list. Also sorry for the clickbait. It sounds more exciting to say I read all of my unfinished books than saying I read 2 of them. I think I'm gonna switch up the book. I think we're gonna switch to the Clara Nielsen. It is 11:15 and I do need to read today, but I just don't know if I'm in the mood for Heartless. I'm 54% through. Dean Graham has always been a little too smug, a little too charming, and always just a little too close. He's my brother's best friend, the guy who never missed a chance to get under my skin. He never meant anything to me until suddenly she finds out that her dad has been cheating on her mum. And Dean is there and he kind of takes the fall for the whole thing. No, he like, I can't remember. Okay, so I just finished our first book of the video. I've already forgotten what it was called, but that means there are only 6 books left in my currently reading list. Definitely not going to get them all done, but it's nice to know that we've made it to start. We're only on our 2nd book, not the best. I'm quite happy with how far we've gotten because if I can finish this today, and I probably will because I'm on a train for 2 hours, I think the only thing that's stopping me is the fact that I'm halfway through most of these books. And it is putting me off a bit because it's like, I think this is the issue. I plan to start a book, then I like forget about it or have to start a different one. I have the worst memory ever. Like genuinely the worst memory ever. So if I don't do something for a bit, I just can't do it because I've forgotten how. The issue with this week why it's been so slow is I've been trying to do a crochet video as well, which I don't normally do. We're braving the storm.
Hi.
Okay, so today is sort of our last day of like fully reading and I still have a lot left of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I think there's a chance I could finish it and we can always go tomorrow because it's Wednesday and normally I start filming the next one on Thursday. Playing today against Liverpool. Definitely gonna lose, but that's fine. Have motivation. This will be quite long after. Invisible Life by LaRue. I feel like I'm gonna have to give it 5 stars, but I feel like I also can't at the same time because I left it for so long. Like, it just doesn't really make sense to give it 5 stars when I did just abandon it for like 3 weeks, because clearly it's not like gripped me from the beginning, but then I feel like it did. That is pretty much everything that I managed to do this week. If I'm talking differently, it's because I got rubber bands on my braces. In this video, we finished 3 of the books on my currently reading list. I know I said I was going to try and do 4. I did read a couple chapters of Picking on Daisies. Picking on Daisies? Yeah, Picking on Daisies. What? I read a couple of chapters of Picking Daisies on Sundays. I Would Stay Forever by Clara Nielsen. I don't know. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think I would move it down to 3. I love her writing style. I think it's so easy to get through. Like, it's just so like comforting. It's so much fun to read. This one, I don't know why, I just didn't really like, I cared about the characters, but not as much as I definitely felt like I should have. And I didn't really care about them getting together either. Like, I don't know if it's because I was 56% through and then just left it. I don't know if that's why, and it was like a thing of like, oh, should have just kept reading in the beginning. Probably should have done that, but it's too late now. This book did have something which I think I really like a motif throughout the whole book, and this one had it. It was like a running. Like, the main character, who I don't know the name of, the main character Lavender, she would run, like quite literally like run from her house, and then that kind of expanded to a bigger thing of her just like physically, like not like driving away and wanting to leave. There's a bit in the first part where she sees her dad cheating on her mum, but she's not the one who separates them. It's the MMC dean, and that's in the part of the book that I read like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so I don't remember it. It just kind of disconnected me a bit because I was like trying to remember as I was reading, and then I was like, what's actually happening now rather than what happened before and what happened in what order. And it just kind of like, I don't know, I also feel like there weren't that many moments between the FMC and the MMC where they were actually just like, there were moments of them like talking. There was no real like gradual shift. She was kind of always in love with him and he was always in love with her, and it was more like, I don't know, their feelings just always kind of stayed the same. The only change was that they were together by the end. Maybe again, it's just the issue of that I left it. Tip: don't do this. Read a book or don't leave it halfway through, because you will then forget about everything. Heartless by Marissa Meyer. I actually just can't. I physically can't. This book made me like, it's so devastating because it's like, Heartless is a retelling, or well, not a retelling, what's the word when it's like it's a fantasy, it's like the background of the Queen of Hearts, and you spend the entire book like seeing, her name is Catherine, the FMC, her name is Catherine. She wants to be a baker, she wants to fall in love, she wants all of these things. She's so like hopeful about her future, and you kind of watch all those like dreams. She watches those like dreams just fall from her grasp as the story goes on, and she keeps like pushing to try and make them happen. And that's what makes it even more like devastating when you realize they can't happen. And I think the build up, the reason this is 5 stars is the build up of everything. Everything's foreshadowed. Everything's like, you can't guess what's gonna happen, but then it happens and you're like, oh my god, that made perfect sense. Like, that actually made perfect sense. If a character has a secret, you kind of get hints and you just don't realize they're hints. And obviously she's gonna become the Queen of Hearts. Oh my god, this is a minor spoiler. I don't know how to talk about this one without giving spoilers, because everyone knows what happens to the Queen of Hearts. Like, even if you haven't read Alice in Wonderland, you probably know who the Queen of Hearts is. Off with his head, that one. Yeah, she started saying that at points and you're kind of like, oh my god. Like, there's a point where she goes from a character that's like completely unrecognizable, innocent, I guess, like good, you can't even imagine her turning into the Queen of Hearts, and then she says that line and it just all kind of clicks into place and you're like, there is no other way the story can go. It's not just the main plot, there's so many like side plots that become so important at the end, and you're like, oh my god, I should have seen that coming. Someone could have stopped this. You can see just how like deeply Catherine feels about everything. Like, her mother is not a very nice person. Her parents don't want her to kind of step out of what they expect her to be, and you kind of hope and you keep hoping that they will let her be free. If they let her go, then none of this would happen. If they had just accepted her for what she wanted to do none of this would happen. It's like there are so many different aspects of it that you can genuinely, like, I've read so many like of this sort of book where it's like you see kind of like the villain's fall, turning from the type of person that you would expect like the hero to be. Everything kind of snowballs into turning them into the character that they're going to become, and it's just, I honestly eat that type of book up. This book is actually perfect. Our last book was this one. If I said this one was devastating, that was a really good hold. If I said this one was devastating, this one was heartbreaking. Like, I was on the train reading the last 20 pages, 40 pages, and I was so close to crying. If I'd been at home, I would have been sobbing on the floor. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. France, 1714, a desperate woman makes a deal with the dark. France, 1714, a desperate woman makes a desperate deal in the dark, a bargain to live forever but be remembered by none. So begins the invisible life of Addie LaRue, shadow muse to artists throughout history, forgotten friend, confidant and lover, slipping away with the morning light. Addie passes through lives, desperate only to leave a trace of herself, until the day she walks back into a small bookshop in Manhattan and meets Henry, who remembers her. After 300 years, Addie's life is restarting, but the devil never plays fair. As Henry and Addie's lives start to intertwine, they must face the consequences of the decisions they've made and the prices to be paid. Do you think a life has any value if one doesn't leave some mark upon the world? I didn't want to live forever, I just wanted to live. The only films I've cried in are The Last Maze Runner, Hunger Games, Matilda, Matilda the musical. Probably more, but I'll let you know when I remember them. We'll do a segment each video. No, we won't. And the only books I've cried in, probably all of the Serpent and Dove book, and then this. You think you understand what's happening, you think you understand how it's going to end, and you just don't. When she was a teenager, I think she was a teen, maybe like 21, she was living in the like 1700s, and she was engaged by her parents to a man in the village that she lived in France. She doesn't want to get married, she wants to live life like the stories that her father told her. So she runs away from the wedding party right into the woods, and she's friends with someone who's like considered sort of like the town village witch. And she does what you are not supposed to do, which is she makes a deal with the dark. She makes a deal with a god in the dark. He sentences her to basically live forever, but no one will remember her. 300 years later, in 2014, she meets Henry, who works in a bookshop, being remembered, and whether or not it's worth living if you can't be remembered by someone after you're gone. At the beginning of each part, there's a piece of artwork, and you go through and there's like paintings and there's songs, and they're all from different time periods, but they all kind of focus on her. Kind of realizes that the most important thing in life is to be remembered. The structure of it is insane. The structure of it, you see her relationship, she's going like on dates with Henry, and then you go back, the timeline kind of works past and present. It's so good. So good. You see her going on these dates with Henry, and then you like directly compare them to dates she's gone on in the past, and like men she's met and women she's met in the past, and you see how with them it's kind of been destroyed, but with him, because he remembers, they're able to like carry on. The most important thing is to be able to see that you've made a mark on the world and like see that you've made some sort of difference. How important is life if there's no one to remember that you've lived? I want to reread it. I wanted to reread it whilst I was in the middle of it. This was one where I'd read like 100 pages and put it down, and I'm so mad at myself. I wish I just read the whole thing in one go. I'm so glad I got a chance to read both of these, because I've been putting off reading them for a long time, and I regret it. If you have the time and if you can, read a book all in one go. If you can't, it's just as enjoyable, I promise. I hope you had a lovely day, or you're having a lovely day. I have no idea where you are, and I will see you next week. Toodles.